we have always used simple data types. We've defined attributes and domains of numeric and of character type. Also, we have other simple data types such as date, image, and others. In addition to attributes and domains, we can define variables of simple data types. A variable is a portion of memory that is given a name and used to temporarily save a data item. As we've seen before, each object has its variables section. That is to say, variables defined in an object are only known in this object. Now, for example, if we want to temporarily save a customer's details in a certain object, we can define an individual variable to save the ID, another individual variable to save the name, and another one for the address, and so on. In addition, GeneXus allows storing several data items together in a single variable. To solve it in this way, we need to define a special data type called compound data type or structured data type. To create this data type, we have to create a GeneXus object of structured data type. We call it SDT customer. We select create, and a structure similar to a transaction structure is opened. In it, we will add each member or data that we want to save about a customer and its type. We add a member called ID and see that the type is assumed by default from the ID domain, just like when we included the customer ID attribute in the customer transaction. Next, we add a new member called name to store the customer's name, and a member called address to store its address, and we save. The compound data type that we've defined can be assigned as the data type of a variable that we create in an object. On the other hand, we can't use a structured data type to define an attribute because they can only store simple data. For example, if we want to save a customer's details in memory in a certain object to use them later, we could define a variable customer of SDT customer type and then load the variable with a customer's details. Let's see this in GeneXus. We may use variables in many objects. In this case, we will do so in a procedure object. We will create a procedure, press Ctrl+N, leave the default name, and click on Create. Now we open the variables section of the procedure and define a variable called OneCustomer to store a customer's details in memory. We press the Tab key to define this variable's data type, and we could click on the arrow and select the SDT customer data type. But it's easier to open the Properties window, click on the data type property, and then click on the arrow and search for the structured data types. So we click on the plus sign and select SDT customer. Now we open the source section. In the insert menu, we choose variable and select the OneCustomer variable. We enter a period, and we see that a window is opened to show the members that we've created in the SDT customer compound data type: address, ID, name. We select ID and press enter. And now we load the ID member of this variable of SDT customer type with the customer's identifier. We type the assignment sign, =, and number 1.
Let's continue loading the customer's name. In the second line of code, we insert the OneCustomer variable again, type a period, and select name.
We give it the name John Smith. Lastly, we load the address. We insert the OneCustomer variable, period, address, and enter 5th Avenue, 1234. In this way, we've saved in memory, in the OneCustomer variable, certain details corresponding to a customer. Also, we will be able to work with them later on in the procedure in any operation that requires it. Many times, we need to save in-memory data that is stored in the database. In this case, the structured data type structure that we need to create matches the attribute structure of the transaction that we had defined. Let's see how GeneXus helps us to easily solve it. We create a new structured data type, new object, and select structured data type, and we call it SDT customer 2. Now, instead of starting to define the SDT members one by one, we drag them from here to the transaction over the SDT structure that we were defining and drop them in. We see that the members of SDT customer 2 have been automatically created with the same names as the attributes in the customer transaction and their data types. We save, and now we return to the procedure and define a variable called another customer. We press the Tab key, and in the Properties window, we select the SDT customer 2 data type. Now let's return to the source section and insert the variable that we've just defined. We can type the ampersand symbol, and all the variables that we have defined in the object will be displayed. As we can see, many of them have been created by GeneXus, but not by us. We choose another customer and type period. Now all members of the SDT customer 2 structured data type are displayed. We had said that our objective was to load this variable of structured data type with data stored in the database. We will see how to load data when we talk about data providers. Lastly, even if so far we have shown the use of a structured data type to save a customer's details in temporary memory, we will see that we can easily change its definition to save the details of many customers. Let's return to the definition of SDT customer, and we can see that there's a column called isCollection that offers a checkbox in the first line to the right of the name SDT customer. By selecting this checkbox, we indicate that the SDT will store a collection of elements of the structure defined instead of a single element. We will see more about this when we study data providers. Finally, we select Commit in GeneXus Server.